We will go through 6 steps to ensure we buy the property that generates us £50,000 profit. My investors and I have a rule called 70% rule. The guide price is reasonable, it's £59,000 and it's a semi-detached house. That then gives us the £50,000 net profit. You may be thinking, wow, this is crazy. The next part is going to blow your mind away. It's what we call joint venture partnership. Buy and sell properties and make £50,000 profit. I'm going to share with you the knowledge and experience I know to buy and sell houses. So if you cannot invest 10 to 15 minutes of your time, I'm afraid you're not going to make it. We will go through 6 steps to ensure we buy the property that generates us £50,000 profit. Step 1, I'm going to walk you through the type of property to buy, but also the type of property we shouldn't buy. Step 2, we're going to go in, search for the property deal. Step 3, we're going to analyze the deal and determine 2 things: the price we got to buy the property at and the profit margin before we even consider buying the property. Step 4, the renovation cost, what is involved, where to go and look for materials, how to source your builders. Step 5, how to raise finance, because end of the day, you need to work with people in order to get your investment going. And finally, step 6, the advantages and disadvantages of buying and flipping houses. My investors and I have a rule called 70% rule. So what is the 70% rule? The 70% rule means you should aim to pay no more than 70% of the property's fair market value minus cost of renovations and any legal or interest for purchasing the property. So step number 1, in order for you to be able to make £50,000 plus in an investment property, it's vitally important for you to know the type of properties you buy. You see, if you're buying a property to sell, you've got to have a different mindset than buying a property to rent out. You see, if you want to buy a property and make 50, 60, 70,000 pounds profit, you've got a different type of properties you could buy. You want to be looking at detached or semi-detached houses. Why? If you buy semi-detached houses, these are houses that goes up in value. When you renovate them, they look absolutely amazing. When you buy a detached house or semi-detached house, you're targeting professionals that have enough money to buy properties like that. And most of these houses tend to be in an affluent areas as well, which attract professionals like doctors, nurses, accountants, and people that would like to live in affluent areas. 2, searching for properties. This is where lots of investors get it wrong. They just jump onto the internet, start looking for properties, not knowing what type of properties to kind of look for or where to go and actually buy that property a lot quicker instead of wasting time looking for properties online. So this is how I buy my properties. Instead of going online, start searching for different properties in different areas, I look for auctioneers that I think are reasonable, very easily accessible, and they do not have lots of seller fees that they can whack on top of the properties I am buying for. So one of those auctioneers, and by the way, the auction I'm going to mention, I haven't got any interest in them. I'm not getting any referral fees from them either. But one of the auctioneers I use are Auction House, and Auctioneers is one of the biggest auctioneers in the UK, and they've got lots of properties throughout the UK. So that's the website we're going to use today to look and search for properties that we're interested in buying. So let's jump onto that. Right, okay, so we're going to go online and look for Auction House. Type Auction House and then you hit search. So when you hit search, obviously you have lots of results coming on your Google result page, but what you want to do is to click on the link that said auctionhouse.co.uk. So we clicked on that link, but because Auction is one of the biggest auctioneers in the UK, we don't want to go and look for properties everywhere in the UK. So I'd like us to look at the auction in Wales, South Wales, because this is where I think lots of people are looking to invest right now due to capital appreciation and also people wanting to move out in the biggest cities so they can live a quiet life, so they can live affordable and quiet life. And here's the thing, when you're buying properties, you're not buying it for you, you're buying it for your target market. So wherever your target market is at is where you want to buy your properties. So let's get to looking at Auction House Wales. So now you've got all the auction rooms here. Okay, so you keep looking. We are interested in Auction House Wales, so we're going to go to South Wales. So South Wales is where we're going to look at, and then obviously we're going to go and look for upcoming auctions. And on upcoming auctions, we look at the one that is going to be coming up sooner, the most recent one. So in this example, we've got one coming up on the 5th of February. 2025. We go and view the lots that are available there. We click on these lots. When we view these lots, it gives you all the properties that are available and that are going to be sold on the 5th of February. So let's get to it. So you can see here they've got various properties. They have not even allocated the lot numbers on those properties, meaning we are first in the market. And the beauty of doing your searches earlier, you might be able to buy the property out of auction before the actual auction itself. But hey, if you cannot buy it before the auction, this then gets us to prepare ourselves to buy the properties during auction. So you see you've got different properties here. You've got this one here, this lot here, this 3-bedroom detached house, 64 Glanmore Road. I like that property, but when you're looking to sell houses, you need to think about the access. You need to think about how your target market would access the property, especially if they've got children. So it is likely to be your target market would be a working professional family. Then obviously they will need access and easy access to the property, especially if they have kids. So hence the reason why I'm not really big on this semi-detached house here, because of the stairs. You have to go through all the stairs to go up there. But we're gonna keep looking to see if we can get something. So you can see here, currently nothing here. Okay, you've got that 3-bedroom terrace house there. It's been postponed. Remember, in order for you to get serious return on the investment, we want to be looking at detached or semi-detached houses. So if we keep going here, oh, I like this one here. The guide price is reasonable. It's £59,000 and it's a semi-detached house. So let's look at this house for a minute to see where we are with this one. So we know it's a 3-bedroom house, it's semi-detached. And also, let's go, the advantage of this property is an extended semi-detached house, is in need of full refurbishment, offering generous accommodation over 2 floors. That means it's a bigger house. And the property is located in Amford. Amford is not far from Swansea. It's about 10-15 minutes or maybe maximum 30 minutes away from Swansea, and Swansea is the 2nd city in Wales. That's a very important thing to note there. And obviously you've got you have the ground floor there. You got the 3 bedrooms on the 1st floor, and it's got a driveway. Driveway is a key, especially with your target market. That would literally increase the value of the property. It's going to sound appealing to our target market. So it has driveway with off-road parking, garden to front and rear and side, and outbuildings, meaning it's a bigger house that would be appealing to our target market. As I said, you always think about your target market when we're looking at these properties. So most importantly, also, you need to be looking at the additional fees, how much the auctioneers are charging for your properties. But here's the thing, not looking at this could throw you out of your figures, because some auctioneers charges lots of money for their auction fees. And the reason why I like auction house is that they don't charge a lot of auction fees. As you can see here, their buyer's premium is only £1,200 plus, including VAT. Is very reasonable. Some auctioneers are charging £4,000, £5,000, £6,000, and obviously have the administration charges there of £1,200. So a property like this then is very appealing. Let's look at the outside. Obviously, it would require lots of work, which is kind of what we're looking for, really, because we're looking for properties that we can add value to. Because when you add value to the property, it means you're going to be making better return on your investment and perhaps even bigger profit. Suppose we went into these properties, we realized we can even make it to 4 or 5 bedroom. Guess what? It even gets your profit margin a lot more bigger. And looking at the house, look at the front of the house there. It's got this little kind of garden on the side of the house, the left hand side of the house, and then you've got this little steps going through that. And on your left hand side here, as you can see on your left hand side here, you've got a little driveway. That's the driveway that they were talking about. It takes you at the back of the property. So, and then obviously you can see the front there, and then this is the back of the property. You can see how much potential this property has. And then obviously you've got the other side of the property. You may be thinking, why have they not showed the inside of the property? I know lots of people would ask this. It's because some of the reasons is because the property is dilapidated. It's a property that would require works. And you may be considering, wow, this is crazy. How do I even go on to start doing this? I get you, I understand that, but here's the thing, properties like this are the things that would allow you to buy it at discount. Why? Because you don't have lots of competitors of people going to buy the house, and buying properties like this allow you to go and bring that modern feel to it. And obviously you have not seen the inside of the property. This is the reason why we got to go and view the property to see it in real life before we even buy it. But before we even buy the property, we need to go in and analyze it, review it as we're doing right now, in order to determine how much we're going to buy the property at. And also when we view the property, we come back and review our figures to ensure we are bang on our figures. So far so good. The property looks beautiful. It's got massive potential. It's in a town called Amford. Amford is a small town near Swansea. So it's about 10, 15 or 20 minute drive to Swansea city centre itself. So now we know that is the property. So the next thing now we want to be looking at during these searches is to find out how much are we able to sell the property at when we completed the work as 3-bedroom house. We're not going to go for 4 or 5-bedroom house. We're gonna analyze it based on the number of bedroom the property currently has. So what we're now going to do here, we're going to copy that postcode. We're going to go to a platform called Rightmove. Now Rightmove is one of the biggest platforms in the UK where you can go and buy, sell houses, and also see how much houses have been sold for previously. So what we're now going to do is to go in pretending like we're going to be buying a similar house as our house to understand how much people are willing to pay for houses like this. So we're going to open that there. We're going to paste our postcode here. So we're going to paste our postcode and paste that there, and then we're going to hit for sale. So once you've hit for sale, obviously you've got this dialog box that comes through. You call it the cog. So with the cog, then you're going to then filter it to see if you can get properties that are similar to your property in that specific investment area. So we don't like to go far away at the beginning just to see what are the houses are like, and to get the houses closer to your property as you could possibly can. And obviously we are looking for houses, and then we want to look for houses that been added at any time, include under offer sold as well, because you want to know how much some of these properties have been sold previously. So we can just leave that range for now, and we know we're looking for 3-bedroom house. And obviously the guide price of this property is £59,000. So £59,000, that's what the guide price is. So obviously we got to sell the property for more than that, aren't we? So we're just gonna do a little guide, but just to filter it so we don't have other properties that we're not interested in. So what we then do, we then filter that to 3-bedroom maximum, which now we've got 3-bedroom minimum and 3-bedroom maximum, and then we're gonna hit the search. So once we've hit the search, we get the result of properties that have been available to sell in that investment area. So obviously we got 5 results here. This is only quarter a mile away from our investment property. So you can see here, this is a detached house. That detached house is going for 239,950. So there's no need to waste our time there, because obviously we're not selling a detached house. So we're looking for a semi-detached. There's a semi-detached here, right? And this semi-detached is only literally 500 yards away from our house, and it's going for £230,000. We've got another one there for £149,000, and we've got another one here, but not entirely the same as our property. So we're not going to look at that because it's not the same, and obviously we're not going to look at that. So currently we only have one property that is very similar to our property. So you're not going to go ahead with that figure, but what you could do instead is to increase your parameters slightly. Maybe you want to go half a mile just to see if you can get something similar also. So obviously we've got a bit of result here. We've got this £149,000. It's not even the same as our house. It's going for £149,000, so we're going to ignore that. And then obviously then we've got the £109,000. Again, not the same type of property. So we're going to go then a mile away from our investment area. So again, same within the same location. Now it's bringing us a bit more data. Okay, we've got the detached house there. We've got this there. We've got another one here. This is kind of a detached house as well. It's going for £225,000. But looking at it, it's about over 500 yards away from our house. And then we've got another one here for £200,000. This is offer over. And we've got another one here which is £175,000. And then we've got that one there. And then we got this one here. So we're going to go back then to our quarter mile. So we've got one here going for £230,000. Okay, £230,000. So we have now looked at the property in auction house. We're now going to go and look at how much we may be able to sell it at to determine our 70% rule. So we're gonna come here, paste the password, paste the postcode, and then you hit for sale. And then obviously it brings you the cog, and this cog is how you can filter it to understand exactly how much or how far you can go from your property. So we're gonna go half a mile. We're looking for houses anytime. We're gonna go for minimum of 60 because you cannot sell it for less than 60,000 because that's the auction, isn't it? So we're gonna do three bedroom houses here, and then we're gonna hit search. But before you hit search, make sure you check this box here. This box that said include under offer sold, because you want to know the properties have been sold if there's any in that investment area. So obviously we go around then and start looking for these properties here. So as you can see, there's one there, semi-detached, that is going for £275,000, £240,000, £230,000. Fantastic. Now we know how much we may be able to sell the property at. So we know we're going to be able to sell it for £230,000. And we're going to deduct our 70%, the 70% rule. You'd always have to do this in order to determine where you can start from on your purchase price. So 230,000 times the 70%, that gives us £161,000. And now we've got our renovation cost, which is £75,000. In order for you to renovate this property, make it really nice and appealing to our target market, we got to invest that £75,000. And obviously we have not also seen the property, so we got to factor that amount in order to put it in a better situation. And here's the thing, you may be thinking, whoa, why do I get £75,000 to fund this property deal? Remember, one of our steps is on how to raise finance. So bear with me, I'm going to get to that. For now, let's just look at at what price should we buy this property at for it to be profitable to us. So see, we got the £161,000 using our 70% rule. So we're now going to minus the renovation cost, which is £75,000. That then gives us £86,000 purchase price. So in order for this deal to be profitable for us, we got to buy it at £86,000. We know the guide price is £59,000. That will gradually increase, right? Any price between the £59,000 to £86,000 is where we need to buy that property at in order to make money. You may be thinking, why is the price going up, right? Right, when it comes to auction, we've got two types of prices. We've got the guide price and we've got the reserve price. The guide price is the £59,000 in this example. This is what they use to attract people to be interested in the property. And then the reserve price is the price by which the vendor would have to sell. They would have to sell the property at that price. And it's usually 10 to 15% over the guide price. So basically we are over the guide price here, but at the same time we're not overbuying the property based on our investment criteria. So we've got the £86,000, and also we have another cost we need to factor in, like your legal cost, your interest, and all the stuff that you pay in order to get the initial 75% to buy the property in the first place. So let's factor that in to be £15,000. And then obviously we have our renovation cost here, which is £75,000. Okay, so now let's add these figures up. So we've got our £86,000 plus our £75,000 plus our £15,000. That then gives us an initial investment of £176,000. So in order for us to be able to buy this property and sell it and make profit, we got to invest £176,000. And bear in mind, most of this money, I'm going to walk you through how you can raise funds in order to get this in the first place, okay? So suppose then we factor in £130,000 to sell that property. We've also got something that we call buy and sell cost when you're selling a property. So what is buy and sell cost? Buy and sell cost is the cost you incur for selling the property. The first cost would be your agency commission. So the commission you pay your agency for selling the property if they were to sell it. And then obviously we've got council tax, electricity, cleaning up and tidying up the property. That is also an additional cost until the property property is sold. And of course, you've got your legal fees as well. So let's factor that into be £4,000. And then obviously we have our total renovation and purchase price, which would be £176,000. So if we minus this cost from the £230,000, we've got the £4,000 out of it, and then we've got the £176,000 out of this. That then gives us the £50,000 net profit. You may be thinking, wow, this is crazy, right? It is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. But these are the ways you can walk backwards in order to determine how much you could buy a house. You can see we've worked through it step by step. We've worked out how much we may be able to sell the property at. We did not go for the highest amount of money we can sell the property at. We went for the reserve amount, which was £230,000. Obviously, we take the 70% out of it, gives us the £161,000. We minus our renovation cost of £75,000 from it. That then gives us our £86,000 purchase price. We then minus our legal fees and interest. That then gives us our initial investment of £176,000. And then we then put in our sell price, which is the £230,000. And then obviously we minus our buy and sell cost, and then we minus our initial investment. That then gives us our £50,000 profit. Whoa, amazing, right? Oh, sorry for interrupting this video. I just wanted to draw your attention to a guide I've just created. This guide is for you if you're looking to start and scale in property investment, and you've got questions that you want to ask in order to start your property investment. This guide is the ultimate guide to start and scale in property investment journey. I talk about the different type of investment strategies. I also discuss the 11 ways you can raise finance to make any property no money down deals, and the type of properties to buy in order to generate a serious return in your investment. And I'm giving this book away for completely free of charge, no string attached, nothing, absolutely free. Click the link on the description of this video to get your free guide now. We've only got a limited number of these copies available as well, so click the link to get your guide now. Let's get back to our video. So far we have gone through step 1, which is the type of properties to buy. We have done our searches, we have analyzed the deal to determine how much we can buy it and how much profit we are going to make, and also we talked about the renovation cost. The 5th step is raising finance, and this is one of the things that stops lots of people investing in property and has deterred them from even thinking about property. So if you implement what I'm sharing with you right now, you should be able to raise that funds in order to fund your property deals. So the first way you can buy your property is using the traditional lenders. It could be a bank, it could be a bridging loan, but in this case, because we're looking at a dilapidated house, maybe we're not going to get a traditional lender for this property, but however, we may be able to get a company, a private lender, to lend us the money to buy the property. So suppose then we've got the purchase price, which is £86,000. Get that right? The lender will lend you 75% of that amount. That means they will lend us £64,500. So that money then comes from the bank. So that's something that you've already got now, okay? Assuming that you have good credit ratings. And by the way, you don't even have to be working earning lots of money in order for you to get this lending. So what the lender looks at is the value of the property or the potential value of the property to determine whether they can lend the money or not. As you can see, it's a beautiful property. Even at that condition itself, we're buying it at £86,000 and they're lending us £64,000. So in either ways, they are gonna get their money should we even flop on the deal. So kind of not a lot of risk there, but the thing to know about bridging loan is that it's an expensive way of lending money. They charge you between 1 to 1.5% per month for the loan. Hence the reason why speed is in the essence here. When you buy the property, you've got to be renovating it quickly in order for you to move from the bridging loan and sell the property to make your profit. So we've got the 64,000. So we've got the 64,500. So now you may be thinking, now you've got the other amount to think about, right? Which would be your 25%, which is your deposit. the £21,500. And obviously you got to have that money in order for the bank to lend you that money. So you see, before you start your property investment journey, maybe perhaps you may have maybe 10, 15, 20, or maybe even £22,000 saved, in order for you to start thinking about investing in property in the first place. Suppose you haven't got that £21,500. One of the ways you can do it is, one, asking friends and family. Maybe your mother, your father, your dad, your family member, your brother. They may have £21,500 to lend you to get your investment going. So that we put that family and friends. Suppose all your family and friends are broke and basically they haven't got money to lend you. Maybe you're going to have to approach an angel investor. Who is an angel investor? An angel investor are individual like any other individual around you. People that you bump into the supermarket, people that you bump into the shopping centers. These are the people that we call angel investors. These are investors that are looking for opportunities like the one you have right now presented to them in order for them to invest for a return on their investment. They may charge you about maybe 3% APR, annual interest, or maybe 4 or 5%. So you can approach people like that. So let's say angel investors. Okay. But let's say suppose you do not have angel investors and basically they don't trust you and they don't want to give you their money. Have you thought about your property that you're living in? Suppose you're living in your own house. You've bought it maybe 5, 6 years ago. Here's the thing. You may have had equity in that property. Suppose then you've got that property, you've sat on it and you've grown, and the property has gone up in value. You can go and extract some of that equity from that property. And here's the deal. You do not have to remortgage the property in order for you to get that money out. Okay, suppose then you need, let's say you need that £21,000. You can approach the bank, say, look, bank, I've got this property worth this amount and I've got a mortgage of this amount, and the difference is between that's what we call your equity. Suppose, let's give you a bright example. Let's say your property worth £200,000, £200,000, right? And you've got a mortgage of £100,000. So what that means basically, if you minus the 100 from the 200, you've got £100,000 equity. So out of that £100,000 equity, the bank may be able to lend you 75% of your £100,000. And here's the deal, that is even more than the £21,000 you need, right? Suppose then you went to the bank and said, look, bank, I got this equity, I want you to lend me the money. But don't tell them you're going to go and invest the money, okay? Tell them you want to buy something, maybe go on holiday, buy a car, whatever that may be. That's one of the reasons why they will lend you the money, because they don't want you to pay them the money quicker, right? Suppose they went to the bank and then the bank said, okay, we can lend you 75% of that. So 75% of that amount is £75,000. So now you know the £75,000, the bank would pay that to your account. The thing to note here is that £75,000 will be an additional borrowing against your property. And also you'll get charged separate interest for that £75,000. I know your alarm bells will be ringing here, whoa, additional expenses. But here's the thing, you're making £50,000, right? And if you remember, we've already factored that expense as the £15,000. We've already worked backwards in order to determine that amount as well. So you've got that £75,000 here, okay? You've got the £75,000. So then the bank pays that, assuming that you're happy, the bank was happy with you, and they pay that amount there. And we know now our initial investment, the renovation cost was, how much you said again? Was £75,000, right? £75,000, but plus the £15,000 interest and legal fees that you would be paying. So that takes us £95,000. So if we've already raised £75,000, it means we've left off £15,000. So you may be thinking, where do I get the £15,000? And again, you don't need this £15,000 right now, by the way, but you can raise it. One way of raising the £15,000, one way of doing that is basically maybe working more at work. If you're working, adding more hours so you can get a bit of money there, because you don't need all that money in one go, because most of that is interest and all the stuff around it. Or perhaps you could start a side hustle to bring that income to you. The other method I'm about to share with you is what really helped helps me expedite my property investment journey, and it's one of the ways I was able to raise money when I bought my first investment property. But that's another story I would tell in another video. So basically, you can go and raise credit cards. You can go and look, maybe if you're in a good job, for example, you can go and maybe get a couple of credit cards or so to get at least maybe 20 or 25,000 pounds in them, and we can then use that money then to start buying our materials for our renovation cost. Let's say then, suppose then you went in and got about 20,000 pounds credit cards. So from those 20,000 pounds credit cards, okay, you got your 75,000 plus your 20,000 pounds. That then gives us 95,000 pounds. So here you go, you've raised your 95,000 pounds, more than what we need, because we needed 90,000 pounds, right? But that 5,000 pounds is like a cushion for you, okay, in order for you to kind of feel comfortable knowing that, oh, maybe if something goes wrong, I've got X, Y, Z, you've got that cushion in there. That gets you to become a little bit comfortable there. So here's the catch then. Suppose then you haven't got a property, right? You haven't got equity, and literally you have not got any other ways that you could do that. The next part is going to blow your mind away. It's what we call joint venture partnership. This is the process by which you can joint venture with someone else, right, to buy the property, and you share the 50,000 pounds. How does this even work? Perhaps then you know how to look for properties, you know how to analyze deals, you know how to do the renovation, etc., etc. And you can find someone who's a busy person that do not know how to analyze deals, do not know how to look for deals, do not know how to renovate deals. Get them to bring in the 90,000 pounds, and then you then do all the work, buying the property, renovating the property, liaising with the builders, selling the properties. You do everything towards the property, and that way the investor will bring the money, they'll be the investor, and then you do all the works, and then that's another way you could raise funds. Step number 6, we have searched for the property, we've analyzed the property, we know our renovation costs, we've now raised the money, right? So in order for this to work, you need to know the advantages and disadvantages. So let's start with the disadvantages. The disadvantages sometimes, maybe when you buy that property, it might not come up to the 230,000 pounds. Perhaps it would come up maybe 220, 210. You might not get that 50,000 pounds, and also maybe the renovation cost would be slightly higher than what you anticipated, or perhaps the renovation process also may take a bit longer than you anticipated, or maybe the property would not sell within the time scale you have actually set yourself to sell that property. So these are the sort of things that may go wrong when you are buying and selling properties, because all of these things eat into your profit. So hence experience really, really, really important here. But let's look at the advantage. The advantage of buying that property is this. We know the property is a massive property, right? It's a big property. You've got extensions, you've got a driveway, you've got a front, you've got a back garden. It is beautiful. Imagine now you walk into that property and you realize you can convert that property into 4-bedroom, 2-reception house. You're not talking about 230,000 pounds fair market value anymore. You're talking about 240, 50 or 60,000 pounds. That's how you can push your profit significantly higher than the 50,000 pounds. Second advantage, if suppose you put the property on the market and it did not sell, which is kind of a bit of a disadvantage, but what you could do instead, you can put that property on the market as a short-term let Airbnb property until it gets sold. In essence, you've got no buy and sell cost because you'll be renting the property as a serviced accommodation. The beauty of doing that, your property becomes like a show home. When you're doing your viewings, the people can visualize how the property would look like, because you would have dressed it up really nicely, furnished it, make it look really, 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 really nice. And here's the thing, knowing without doing is the same as not knowing. There's the potential to make 50,000 pounds every single property you've bought and sold. And imagining buying 3 or 4 of these houses a year, you're talking about 200,000 pounds net profit every single year. I really hope this video has been helpful. If this video has been helpful, click on this video here to learn how to start and scale in property investment. If you like this video or any of my videos, smash the like button below, subscribe to my channel for more amazing videos. I look forward to sharing the next one.